Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now today we will be talking about MGRC, very interesting developments, and it's also in a very high-tech quote-unquote industry. So we are trying to look under the hood, right? Now as a disclaimer, we do not own any shares in MGRC, and none of what we say should be taken as financial advice. Now guys, I know some of you have not made your first 6 figures in the stock market or just in general. And so if you're interested to do that, we have the perfect ebook for you. Check it out in the comments and the description. Okay, Jonathan, so I know you're the one that did all the investigation, quote-unquote investigation for MGRC. Let me know what caught your attention.
First off, the name itself already caught my attention. Malaysian Genomics Resources Berhad.
Okay.
Right? So the word genomics, right, caught my attention.
Okay.
Because you rarely see this kind of company in Malaysia. You only see it in US or maybe even in the China.
Right.
So this actually triggered my interest to like research a little bit more. And not only that, of course, the price also kind of like went up quite tremendously. Right? So I
15%
kind of like want to
months.
research about it.
Right.
Yeah. So right now it is up about 15%. But if you look at the overall, right, it actually did went up more than 10x.
Right, at the tech peak lah. So
at the tech. Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually there's a reason for it. I won't disclose here. I'll disclose in the later slide. But it's something to do with their business.
Okay, so here's the quarterly numbers, right?
Yeah. So generally you can see that they have been quite volatile also. It's like it's not really like going up all like linearly. So there's like in financial year 2021 they did have a drop in revenue and earnings, and then recently they actually announced quite a strong quarterly reports, especially their profit segment. So
this is a real tech stock, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Tech.
Yeah, but let's have a look at what is really underlying all of these earnings.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we go to their financials, I just want to like touch a little bit on what they do as a business.
Yeah.
So, as their name already say, they are in the genomics industry. So, what does it mean by genomics? Is like your DNA, right? So they do a lot of screening of your DNA, but the thing is that they don't really like they only do like those analysis for scientists only. So, for example, like us, right, our job is to do investigate companies, so we study their fundamentals, their financials, right? They are basically they are basically doing what we are doing. So we are just doing analysis and research. Right. And then once they did like this kind of analysis, right, so they will pass it back to the scientists and then say like, this is what we find, this is our conclusion.
Right, they're like consultants for your people's genes, in
exactly.
Right.
So in order for you guys, in order for them to actually have this research, right, they need this particular software, which they actually got it from one of their subsidiaries, which is also linked to their supplier. So their customer is their supplier.
Very interesting.
Then,
So this is a brief understanding of the value chain. This should be from their prospectus, right?
Yeah, correct. So this is from their prospectus. I just now I already mentioned it. They are in the one that is at the shaded with grey one. Yeah. So they are at the pre-analysis and analysis segment. Basically, just do a lot of research, service kind of based business lah.
Right. Yeah. And they've been listed. I just want to give everyone a sense. They've been listed for a long time, right?
Yeah, I think if I recall, it's around like 2000, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was way back. Yeah, super way back. So that's their value chain. If you're interested to find out, you can just study more about it. It's called the bioinformatics industry, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just basically a short form for if you want to find data about the biotech or the biology lah. Yeah. Okay, so just now I mentioned the major customer, right? This is in their I was mistaken. The prospectus was in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, because this one, you can see the financial year is 2009. So one of their major customer is the Synamatix, which contributed about 60% to 70% of their total revenue. And what do they help this customer does is basically they help them to research and analyze the genome, the data, DNA that is submitted to them. And funny thing is, their major supplier is also Synamatix. So what Synamatix does is that they provide them the software to actually research this thing.
It reminds me of a company called Scomnet, which I think we cover quite deeply right now, research team.
Yep.
And long story short, they would give like car companies, like let's say Peugeot, would give what's the guy's name? Scomnet.
Yeah.
The equipment, even the CAPEX to set up their plant to manufacture certain parts or assemble certain parts of the car. Then they'll sell it back to Peugeot. So
right pocket, that kind of thing. I'm not gonna say anything lah. But okay, the reason why I highlighted another major supplier, right, the Neuramatix, right, because these two, Synamatix and Neuramatix, actually, the shareholders of the company actually own these two companies. They have like a stake in it.
Okay.
So they're like what I mentioned, like left pocket in, right pocket out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just like I mentioned again, shareholders. These are the three major shareholders in the company. So the first one is Robert George, or his name is Abdul Karim. Then another one is his wife, which is Munira. And
okay, so it's a family-run business.
Yeah. It was founded by this husband and wife duo. Yep. So that is the major shareholder that you need to know. And then this is another Neuramatix, which is also the supplier of the company. They are also the shareholder of it. And then, so this is an interesting part because if you compare between the shareholders in 2010, which is during
massive change.
Yeah, during their prospector days and after like 10, 11 years ago, right? So you notice this name Synamatix and Neuramatix, which I mentioned earlier, wasn't inside the shareholder list, the top 30 shareholder list in 2021. Right. That's because they actually have a major business restructuring. Basically, the founders kind of like divest, and then they are like stripping away their stake lah. They are actually giving it to a new team. Yeah.
Nice. Alright guys, enjoying the video so far? If the answer is yes, give us a like. And if the answer is no as well, just let us know in the comments. Always appreciate your feedback. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that whenever new videos come out, you know it immediately. Okay, Jonathan, so let's look at the financials.
Yeah.
It is one of the most interesting type of financials I've ever seen. So take it away.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing you need to know about this industry, right, is that the business model is not really sticky. Yeah. So as you can tell from the revenue itself already, at first they do like genome data as a service, and these services called the contract genomic services, which I actually don't know what is the difference between these two. From what I understand, it's just that they are research and analysis. That's
right.
But then you notice, right, in 2013, 2014, revenue start to downtrend. So this actually tells us that the scientists or researchers of these DNAs, right, they don't really necessarily need their service all the time.
Yeah.
Because once they get the result, right, maybe it will take like another few months or even years to actually discover something new that they discover a problem, then they need MGRC's help. So which actually suggested they are volatile in revenue.
It sounds a bit like it's a service that it's a nice to have, but it's not a must have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
For the system
Neuramatix and
Neuramatix.
Yes, exactly. So then you notice, right, after 2012, they stopped doing this two, which is the blue bar and the green orange bar kind of like business segment. They transition it into another thing which is called the genomic sequencing and analysis, which is actually, I think it is somewhat similar, but I'm not sure what is the difference between these two. Maybe those who are expert, you can just let me know in the comments.
Okay.
And then in 2017 to 2019, they start to change again.
Yeah,
this business
pathology services, right?
Yeah. And then after 2019, they are back to the old business again, which is the genome sequencing analysis. So
which
this
is like tiny.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very interesting kind of business. Okay, so if you have a look at their recent profit and loss, right, you notice that there's there's actually a jump in revenue and also in profit in quarter 3 2022.
That's true.
Yeah, so the reason why is because they venture into this new business venture, which is the immunotherapy kind of business. So what is this immunotherapy, right? So how I understand is that I actually have like a cousin who actually went through like chemotherapy, right? And I see it's like very suffering.
Very weak,
Yeah, because what chemo does is basically it kills all cells, right?
Correct.
Regardless it's cancer or whatsoever. But this MGRC recently did this business, which is actually something that is, I would say it is a better alternative than chemo, because they actually, what they do is they take up some of your DNA and then they kind of like put something or value add that gene so that it will only target and kill cancer cells. So it is like a targeted kind of therapy instead of like chemo, which is kill all cells.
Yeah, okay,
which
that's a lot better.
Yeah, which I feel that maybe if it did succeed, right, I think I'll be very happy because there's actually
Malaysian
a much more
company,
less suffering kind of like therapy and also treatment for cancer.
That's true.
Yeah, so okay, so another thing that about this business is that they have a very low tax rate. I think because the government see this as a very potential industry, so they actually like, you know what, I'm just not going to charge you a lot of tax. You can just do whatever you do, and then just keep like trial and error R&D lah, in a way. So
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, so if you go to their cash, right, initially they have a lot of cash. The reason why is because they raise a lot IPO funds for IPO, but then as they start to like I wouldn't say is expand their business, but to service their working capital, that's why their cash start to drop. And then you see the recent uptrend in cash, right, is because they actually did a few private placement and preference share, and also they sold off some subsidiaries. So that is their balance sheet part. And if you look at their operating cash flow, right, I think if John sees this,
expected, right?
I think if John sees this, right, he'll straight away turn off lah. What is this business, man? Cash flow, no. So
So that's like the numbers what happened. Of course, it's such a fast changing industry. You can see they change business model like 5 times in the past.
Three times, 3 to 4 times.
And I guess what's the next pathology services, I guess.
Okay, so there's actually 5 new things that you need to know because there's a lot of major restructuring, right? So the first thing I'll go through is the core business. So the core business just now I mentioned, which is the immunotherapy treatment. They do this therapy called the CAR T cell therapy. So if you want to know how's the process, so this is the process. Just now I kind of like explained to you, right? They took out a little bit of DNA, then they put something into it, and then they put it back into your body so that it kills the cancer cell. But the one thing that is interesting is that I'm not sure whether this fact is true or not, but the management did mention that the overseas, when they do this kind of therapy, right, they charge about 800,000 per treatment. But MGRC is only charging like 200,000.
Yeah,
which discount, is like a major discount.
75% discount.
Yeah, but I'm not sure whether this is legit or not.
So
don't quote me on this.
This is just what you found in public information.
Exactly. And then
the new team, yes.
So the next thing is that you need to notice is the old team is actually resigning.
Okay.
Which is I think Datin Munira, and then her husband also is leaving, and then there's actually a few director teams. Board of directors also who are once in their team, they are all also leaving. So this whole 5 management team, right, is replaced with a new team. Right. So let's have a look at the new team. So it's very...
Hey, this is a familiar guy. I've seen him before.
Yeah, so it's actually very new and fresh-looking kind of people. But the thing is that I don't think they all have a lot of They don't really have any qualification in the biotech industry, or let alone in the data genomics kind of sequencing industry, except for, if I believe, is Datuk Elvin Joseph Nesakuma. He has like a... qualifications of doing like those stem cells treatment and that kind of thing lah.
Yeah.
So and then another interesting individual is that I separately put it there. It is a 22-year-old. I think it's Dato Nasri, right? Nasri, if I'm not mistaken, his name.
Okay, but we've seen him before. A lot of us have seen him before.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the listed companies that I put it over there, right? So he has positions in Sabah, Bintai, NWP, and as well as MGRC.
Very interesting. Okay, so, new shareholders. Yes,
new shareholders. So the Encik, if you notice the Encik Asri, Asri, yes, I was correct. So Encik Asri is the deputy CEO for Bintai. It's also another quite interesting company in terms of share price. I mean, if you guys are into into like gambling or whatnot, I mean the company is like going like that one lah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and he does it under Pixel West Sendirian Berhad.
Yes. So he invested it under this Sendirian Berhad, which is exactly what you say. So this is their new shareholders. Then we move on to the next point, which is the new collaborators. So
Ucrest, okay.
Yes, so they collaborated with a lot of interesting companies. So one is the Ucrest. I believe they want to get their some online medic software or some kind of thing. And then also with Rinani Genotech, also some hospitals, United Doctors Hospital, and
Right.
this one last app which is interesting,
Asia.
Asia Super App.
Interesting.
Yeah, to do their genome sequencing.
Okay, got it.
Not sure why.
New auditors, huh?
Yeah, okay. So
Alright.
the last bit is pretty interesting. I don't think a lot of people will actually pay attention to this. So EY has been their auditor for like 6 years, since 2010 to 2016. And then after 6 years, Crow Malaysia also is under the top 10 auditors in Malaysia.
Yeah.
They kind of like step in. And then recently, Crow Malaysia decided to like step down. They don't want to like help them audit. And then now MGRC is kind of like looking for another
see.
new auditor. So that's a
Interesting.
pretty interesting bit. But so far, the past evaluation from all of these auditors, right, they say that the company is presenting a very true and fair financial statement. So far,
good.
there's nothing really
Yeah.
concerning about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a last interesting bit lah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this, Jonathan. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Certainly I did. This is this company is very, very special. And of course, if you think someone would benefit from this video, share it with them. And of course, before we sign off, follow us on some of our social medias, Telegram, Twitter, Instagram, whatnot. And see you in the next video.